Good afternoon, everyone. This is Konstantyn speaking here, and I'd like to introduce you to Casa YUVI. What is Casa YUVI? Casa YUVI is an organic estate in central Italy. We are halfway between Rome and Tuscany, and we are in a geographical site which is renowned for its Etruscan heritage and agricultural wealth. Casa YUVI focuses on producing two products, the first of which is a refined brandy, which we make from the berries that we farm on our land. The second product is an accommodation service at our farmhouse. The farmhouse has 3 rooms, which we invite people to stay in for short-term and long-term stays. So to summarize this again, Casa YUVI is an organic estate in central Italy with 2 products, a refined brandy and an accommodation service. Next, I will talk about the industry and environmental analysis. The industry and environmental analysis for this case study will be focusing on the brandy and its potential of entering the Bangkok craft spirits market. Take into account that if you're producing a brandy, it is recognized as an alcoholic beverage. And when introducing an alcoholic beverage to an international market, there is a very high level of bureaucracy involved, both in import regulations from international countries and export regulations from domestic markets. In our case study, we have used a pestle analysis to summarize this, and I will briefly round this up. From a political side, YUVI faces low barriers in its domestic country, as Italy is a large producer of wine and spirits and incentivizes local producers to export. However, when exporting to Thailand, we face a lot of red tape from protectionist policies in Thailand, which want to protect the home market, which are seen in the customs regulations and the high cost of taxes. From an environmental perspective, we need to take into account the changing weather conditions, which have had a drastic effect over the past 5 years, in which one is not able to predict how the season plans out. From an economic perspective, we have seen a rise in inflation, especially since the COVID-19 pandemic, which has increased the cost of supplies and has subsequently made buying behavior of consumers a little bit more hesitant, I would say. From a legal perspective, as I mentioned before, on a domestic side, we are incentivized to produce spirits, whereas when exporting to international markets, it is a little bit more of a risk. This has been our pestle analysis, and I will next be moving on to our marketing plan. Our marketing plan, again, targeting the Bangkok craft spirits market, will look at how YUVI will plan on positioning itself amongst the other craft spirits and what strategies it will take to increase its positioning and become a premium choice for bars, restaurants, and industry professionals. The main goal for any craft spirit is to get positioned well on the back bar of a restaurant or cocktail bar. You might sometimes be aware that when you walk into a venue, you will see a very large shelf filled with bottles. Our goal is to be positioned on the shelf in a way that is very visible to consumers and is a preferred choice for the people working in there. They are incentivized to sell your product, they understand your product, and most importantly, they prefer your product to other people's. To achieve this, YUVI has emphasized on a strong design presence, strong branding, and the use of interesting materials in its packaging. For example, the glass in our bottles is made 100% of recycled glass, and it is because of that it has a natural green color to it, and the surface of the bottles is not very even. The paper that we use in our labels comes from 30% post-consumer waste, another factor which we like to tell consumers. And in going forward, we plan on fully removing plastic from our packaging. At the moment, the last piece of plastic left on our packaging is the capsule. We believe that by focusing on strong design elements, we are able to stand out on a bar shelf, and we are able to be seen as a sharing experience for people wanting to take pictures, people wanting to take photos, and people wanting to be seen with the bottle. I will next be moving on to our operations plan, talking about how we are allocating our resources on site to produce both our refined brandy and our accommodation services. Our operations plan on our organic estate is divided in between three main areas. We have our aronia berry fields, which are used to cultivate our berries, which are then processed and transformed into our refined brandy. We have our production house, which is the first site of transformation for our brandy. And then we have our main house, which is used for the accommodation services of our estate. On the next slide, I will be talking about the layout of the main house. As you can see, here you have the main house, which is split between ground floor and first floor. The ground floor is used for public area, which everyone can access, both in-house guests and outdoor guests. They can access this area for live tastings. They can access this area for events that we hold. They can access this area simply to come and visit the farm. You will also see that on the ground floor, there is a kitchen space. This kitchen space is for staff only and will be used for the catering of events, producing meals for in-house guests, and for any other type of gastronomic events we would like to hold on the farm. The first floor is reserved for in-house guests only. It is divided between 3 studios. Each of these studios is equipped with a sleeping area, i.e. a bedroom, a living area, i.e. a studio, and a kitchenette. We believe that with these facilities, we are able to give guests the possibility to be there short-term and long-term. By long-term, I mean people that are able to possibly smart work, want to take a break from the city, and would like a place in the countryside in which they can unwind, work on some personal project, or maybe spend some time with their loved ones. Now, these are the 2 floors of the house. I will be next moving on to my management plan, talking about our organizational structure and how different position and job descriptions are integrated. The management plan, Casa YUVI's organizational chart. Now, this is a small business. We only have 6 hectares of farming land. We have the sales of the YUVI brandy to concentrate on and accommodation services to operate. As such, the CEO will be in charge of general oversight and quite a lot of on-hand activity, such as greeting guests when they show up to the property, and following up sales leads, as well as managing contracts with production managers and directly assessing what best strategies are to take with the accountant. Our field worker is the second most present person in the site, as they are needed for everyday maintenance. They are needed for crop work. They are needed just to keep a general lookout that everything on the farm is up to date, things aren't being left behind, and that our crops are being cared for. The two part-time conditions, housekeeping staff and service staff, are required for the upkeep of our accommodation services, the housekeeping staff for the cleanliness of the rooms in the public area, the service staff for the food and beverage operations whenever we have food and beverage events. The accountant and production manager are two subcontractor positions. The production manager takes care of the second round of transformation of our refined spirits, whereas the accountant is our both our tax attorney and our financial advisor. Italy is a very complicated place when it comes to bureaucracy, and as such, it is quite important to have a tax attorney that is knowledgeable of the field you are in. In this case, we are in the agricultural field, and we have chosen an accountant that is knowledgeable of that field. Now, the financial statements. I have chosen to talk about cash flow from operations because I believe that it is through positive cash flow that a business is able to survive. You will, however, see that in the first year of operations, cash flow is in the negatives. This is because of the large amount of cash required to start up our activities. And this is also the reason for which we are looking for a round of financing to cushion these investments and their ability to allow us to properly operate in the years to come. You are able to see that in the fourth year of operations, we have finally achieved growth. We have achieved a product market fit in which people understand our product and people are incentivized to buy our product. And the reason for which you see a drop in year 5 is because in year 4 we are making investments mostly in employment, which are able to then help us navigate the maturity stage, allowing us to then enter back into a growth phase. I am rounding this presentation up with a balance sheet because I would like our prospective investors to understand that this business activity focuses on equity. We are the full owners of the land and the facilities. We do not have any outstanding debts with the banks, and as such, I would label this as a safe, conservative investment for any prospective investors. This is because, given that we own our equity, we are able to make the decisions ourselves. We are fast at making decisions, and we are knowledgeable of the industry. Though I will also advise the investors that you will not be receiving returns similar to the tech sector. The chance of you gaining 20% on a return of investment is not there, though, as I mentioned before, this is a safe investment. You can expect to receive 8 to 10% over a 10-year period, with payout starting after year 3. I would further like to add that for prospective investors, there will be a benefits program You will be able to receive price discounts. You will be the first to know about any new products coming out. Let's say we like to run our activities. We believe in providing the best of service, and we're very grateful for anyone committing to the cause. Thank you for your time, and I look forward in answering any further questions. It's been a pleasure. Grazie.